Hey, this is Double R. I wanted to tell you that Anchor by Spotify is a great and easy way to make a podcast with everything you need and all in one place. Anchor has the tools to allow you to record, edit your podcast straight from your phone or your computer. When hosting with Anchor, you can distribute your podcast to all listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Best of all, it's totally free. So go down the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. This is the Let's Roll podcast with your host, Double R. Hey, this is Double R, and thank you for tuning in or listening to the Let's Roll podcast. This is the Let's Roll short story. So here's a little story I like to tell. Sorry, that I shouldn't do that. That's probably copyrighted. So anyway, short story time. So it was back in 1977, I believe. I was 6 years old. I believe it was May. Sometime in May. Might be early May, but May. And me and my mom, I believe my brother, all went up to Texas A&M, College Station. My cousin at the time was graduating. And we were taking a tour of the campus, I believe. And I was being pushed around by my cousin. Her name is Letitia. I'll get back to that in a minute. But anyway, my cousin was pushing me around. I believe this the whole time that we were touring everything. So it wasn't just my immediate family. It was my mom's uncle's son, her cousin, was graduating. So we had other family members on my mom's side up there. So we had been touring all day. And so going back, my cousin was actually pushing me this whole time. And so we go outside this building. And as we come outside the building, they were having a parade. So I'm assuming, I don't remember too much, but I'm assuming that we went out this door so we could catch the parade. And I remember us going out the door, out on, out the building, and the entrance was, curb height. So you had to step down to go into the street, and they had like a street or, part of the parking lot or whatever. It was in front of us. And so we come out the door, I stop. We all stop. But a few seconds later, my wheelchair starts to roll. And I don't think anything of it. It's like, okay, I guess we're going somewhere. But I'm rolling towards the curb. And what I can assume, which I'm pretty confident I did this, is I'm rolling towards the curb, and as I get to the curb, I tump forward, go off the curb, tump forward, and I put my hands out, or arms and hands out, to stop, me from hitting the ground. And when I do that, I break my arm, I break my nose, I crack my forehead, I break my glasses, I also break my legs, because the wheelchair that I was in was about 75 pounds. It was a heavy, old school Evergen Jennings. I hope I can pronounce that right. But it was an old school metal wheelchair. And I, at the time, was probably not even 3 foot tall. I'm going to assume, because I was very small for my age. Now, if you haven't caught any of my other podcasts, I have what's called osteogenesis imperfecta, which is brittle bones disease. So my bones break easy. And part of that condition, and the type that I am short-statured and very small, for my age at the time, even for my age now, I'm just a small person. So the wheelchair goes over the curb and tumps forward, and I put all my arms out to stop it. try to stop the wheelchair from coming on top of me, that didn't help. I broke one of my arms, like I said. So, but when we had stopped and I started rolling, everybody behind me put their hands out like they wanted to catch me because they realized I was rolling on my own, and I didn't know I was rolling on my own. So I hit the ground, I break, I get knocked out, break my glasses. Man, it literally looked like I was in a real bad car accident. So after I rolled off the curb, the only thing I can remember is somebody pulling the wheelchair off of me. I remember my mom, slowly turning me over and picking me up. I don't know if it was my mom or someone else, but as I was being carried, somebody was giving some of the bigger chunks of my eyeglasses glass away from my eyes and out of my eyes or whatever. We went back to our hotel room where my mom had been trained by my doctor to, put splints on my legs, try to stabilize me as much as she could. Then we went to the emergency room there in College Station, and I don't remember if they redid the splint or what, but they really weren't experienced in someone that had my condition. And so we didn't live that far away from College Station. If I had to guess, we were probably an hour and a half away from College Station. Maybe 2 hours at the most, but at the time where we lived at the time. So we just, my mom decided to pack me and my brother up, and we drive back to Houston. And then we got with my doctor after we got back to Houston and went and saw him. But the funny thing about this story is every time I see my cousin, Letitia, I always joke with her and mess with her about, you were the one that let me go off the curb. You were the one. And kind of add to the story, the other night, I called her and I asked her to be on the podcast. And I told her I wanted to tell this story and wanted her to be a part of it so she could kind of tell her part from it. But she's like, I'm not going to be on the podcast and get thrown under the bus. And I started laughing. And but she said, no, you can tell the story. I don't care to be on the podcast, and that's fine. It's no big deal. But I want to do these little short podcasts, tell a quick story about something that happened in my life, and we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna post these on Buzzpod or something like that. I don't even know where I'm posting it. But anyway, I'm going to post it somewhere other than Anchor. And it might be even a Patreon thing. I don't know. But this is the first one. It's, Let's Roll short story. And that's basically it. That was me going to College Station, rolling off the curb, and looked like I was in a car wreck. And so that just tells you that how severe my condition was at the time. When I was younger, I could brake very easily. I could move the wrong way and break something. And that's probably one of the worst times that happened to me that I broke in one of the worst breaks. I could say it like that. So I hope you enjoyed this short story. Once again, I appreciate everything. You taking the time listening to this. Make sure you follow us on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Anchor, and Buzzpod. We're also on Patreon, so consider to become a member of Patreon and help support the channel financially so we can grow it, make it bigger and better. And all the money will go towards making the podcast better. That's better equipment, hiring people to edit it, whatever, blah, blah. It's something I want to grow, and I hope I can get your support in growing it. But until the next short story, I'm Double R, and as always, let's roll. Hey guys, Double R here, And make sure you check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, and our merch store. Follow us on all of our social media.